Everybody, this is Tim here again. Hello everybody, this is Tim here again. Finally doing a review for Infinity War. It's been out for a while. This is kind of a casual review because personally it's hot as hell where I live here. So I just want to be kind of casual with this one, kind of hang back. But anyway, Infinity War has been out for a while, and anybody who watches my videos knows I'm a Marvel fan as well as a DC fan. I'll be honest, I'm more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan. I am. Because I grew up with the characters. Batman is my all-time favorite comic book character. Hands down. Batman. #1 as far as I'm concerned. But other than that, I like Superman in DC. I like Shazam, other people. Marvel, I like Iron Man. I like Spider-Man. Hulk. I really like the Mark Ruffalo version. I like both Marvel and DC, but I am a slightly bigger DC fan. I'll just say that up front. I am. So just to jump into Infinity War, anybody who's watching my videos for the first time, I grade the movies from 1 to 4 stars. Anything 1 and below being crap, 1 and 0 being crap, I mean. You can either get a low 2 for passable or like a high 2 for okay. 3 being good, 4 being great, of course. Just go ahead and say it. From 1 to 4 stars, I'd give Avengers Infinity War 4 stars out of 4. It is a 4-star rated film. I think this is a great comic book blockbuster film. I think it is. But do I think it is one of the best comic book movies ever made? No, it's not. It's not in the top 5 best comic book movies ever made. There's lots of better comic book movies than this. Lots of comic book movies I'd rather watch than this. Hell, I liked Blade 2 better than this. I liked the Dark Knight trilogy, all 3 better than this. It's not as good as Avengers 1. It's better than Avengers 2, but it's not as good as Avengers 1. For what this movie is, for pure fun, I'd give it 4 stars out of 4 for being like a blockbuster action and comic book flick. But honestly, in terms of writing, Black Panther was better. Now, with that stuff out of the way, I just wanted to get that stuff out of the way because I'm not just going to kiss this movie's ass. Because Marvel is at a level now where they're like almost Star Wars type popularity, where anything they make, no matter what it is going to do a lot of money at the box office. Or at least a good amount. No matter what it is. I mean, let's just be honest. So I always like to be fair with every film that I review. Whether it's DC or Marvel. This film is better than Batman vs. Superman. It is. And I like Batman vs. Superman. But this film is better. Now. I liked Wonder Woman better than this. And I like Justice League better than this. Now, reasons being, while this film is fun, and the villain Thanos is good here, played by Josh Brolin, but they've kind of retconned his character a little bit to give him more of a sympathetic motivation, which works well in the film, but at the same time, it kind of comes out of nowhere, because they haven't built up his character at all in other films. They kind of got to just throw it in here. Another problem with this film is it leaves a lot of stuff unexplained, because this obviously wants to be a 2-parter with Avengers 4. It has to be, otherwise it makes no sense. There's stuff in here, but at the same time, this film needs to function as a standalone film, and there's a lot of stuff in here that just makes no sense whatsoever. Through the film, you keep getting all these hints that Thanos like really loves Gamora or whatever, and they never really explain why. Like, why does he give such a shit about this girl? Like, you see a flashback to where he like saves her from being killed by his firing squad or whatever. It's never explained why. It's just told. And one of the reasons is because they want to wait for Avengers 4. They just had so much shit they had to do here, they just couldn't put it all in there. Pretty much Thanos, he wants to eradicate like half the universe with Infinity Gauntlet, okay? So he can help the universe survive so there'll be less people, because his planet became overpopulated and it pretty much imploded on itself and died. So he doesn't want that to happen to anyone else. So he's kind of sympathetic but crazy at the same time, because he thinks that the universe is going to be quote-unquote grateful after he's done with this, which really makes no sense unless he's just totally insane, which then is kind of just weak motivation. So that doesn't work totally. And the Gamora stuff doesn't totally work either. The acting here is good. Nobody in this film does a bad performance. Nobody. I will give this movie credit. They stepped up the bar and they started finally killing off some Marvel characters. Beginning of the film, we get Loki's death, and Heimdall. Heimdall, I mean, he was good. Idris Elba did a good job in other films, but you don't really care if he dies. I mean, let's just be honest. Loki, though, on the other hand, Tom Hiddleston is great as Loki. And honestly, he was a better villain in Avengers than Thanos is here. Thanos is good. This is a good Marvel villain. He's better than the Vulture that was played by Michael Keaton. He's still not as good as Killmonger, who was great in Black Panther, and he's not as good as Loki from the first Avengers, but he's good. And the CGI, for the most part in the film, is good to great. It's better than the Justice League CGI, except in one or two certain spots. Like, he has like these sidekicks, Thanos does, like his children, adopted children, that he has do his bidding for him and retrieve the Infinity Stones. Their CGI could have been a little better. It's not that great. It's just kind of CGI overload after a while. It starts to become pretty much the same thing as Justice League. I could overlook the CGI in Justice League because it was more restrained than this film. One of the big problems I have with this film is after so many Marvel films and so much build-up, and I have been getting, as a big comic book fan, I have been getting a little tired of comic book movies in general, just to be honest. By the time we get up to Infinity War, it's like every friggin' character known to man in this movie, except for Hawkeye and Ant-Man, who I honestly thought should have been in the film. I did miss them here. I felt like they should have been here. I know they're probably going to be in Avengers 4, but they probably should have been in this one. That was a mistake. I guess they just couldn't find anywhere to fit them. But anyway, everything's just gotten so epic and so, special effects filled by now that I have started to lose a little bit of interest on the impact. I like the more restrained feel of Justice League and the first Avengers. Justice League wasn't as good as the first Avengers, but I still had an awesome time with it because I still had fun seeing the DC heroes for the first time and seeing more of a small scale adventure. It should have been a little bit more epic, but on the whole, I enjoyed it. Here, it's almost too epic. Another problem is yes, this is a problem. There's just so many friggin' characters. Not everybody gets something meaningful to do. Captain America, you think he's going to get something cool to do, and he does get a cool introduction. But after that, it's just he's just there. He doesn't really do shit. He gets one neat scene with Thanos, and then Thanos just like smacks him like a hoe, and he's done. That's pretty much Chris Evans' entire role in this film. That's it, really. Vision, he's pretty cool. I've never really been a huge fan of Vision, but he's used good here, and it's nice to get to see him in human form in disguise, because he's on the run since Civil War, of course. Some of the characters are, if you've seen that movie. And he's in his human form. He looks like Paul Bettany or whatever, the actor that plays him. And that was cool. Scarlet Witch and his romance, though, is just kind of thrown in here. It was just hinted at in the other films. It wasn't really built up to, and here we're just expected to take it to like full force. Just kind of comes out of nowhere slightly if you haven't been paying attention. So that was a little much. And once again, the problem is they just have so many characters. They have trouble here. They have trouble here balancing all the characters and giving them something meaningful to do. Thor probably gets the shortest end of the stick. This movie essentially is an Iron Man team and a Guardians of the Galaxy team movie. That's what it really is at its core. Everybody else is just kind of background characters to Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, really. He disappears for a large portion of the movie. Towards the first act, like partway through the first act he does, and they start focusing on the other characters like Vision and stuff for a while. But he brings the most energy on the screen. So when he disappears for a while, you kind of like, where's Iron Man? And when he pops back up, he just kind of dominates the movie from here on out, him and the Guardians. And they are the best part. I will not lie. Robert Downey Jr. owns this movie's ass. Best part of the movie. Him, Doctor Strange, and the Guardians. Best parts of the movie. Doctor Strange is used really well here. He was really good in this movie. I thought he was good in the Doctor Strange movie, which I just thought was kind of a good standard comic movie. Not really great. Doctor Strange is better here. He works better here as a team. He does. And he gets some awesome magic moves against Thanos, like making multiple copies of himself. That was cool as hell. There are major plot holes here, though, like when it comes to Doctor Strange's abilities. Why didn't he just use the Time Infinity Stone, just like reverse time and do the same thing he did in the Doctor Strange movie to Thanos? It makes no sense why he didn't do that. And the real reason why is because they know he could have done that, but they couldn't come up with a plausible way to get Thanos out of it, so they just skirted it off to the side and just hoped we'd forget about it. But yeah, that was a problem. Another problem is how crazy Thanos is. Like, he expects the universe is going to be grateful for what he's doing. Yeah, buddy, sorry, no. That doesn't really work either. Another problem is the balancing of the characters. Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, they make a good team. They work well in the movie. Thor, after the beginning of the movie, he gets kind of the short end of the stick. He just goes through space to make this weapon to kill Thanos. He's like with the Guardians for a little bit, and then after that, he just goes to make this space weapon with this giant dwarf. And the actor who plays the dwarf is a good actor. I've seen him in other stuff, and he's a good actor. His acting is bad here for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe he just didn't care. I don't know. But the weapon like Thor's making and all that, it's just boring. It just feels like time killer, to be honest. That shit was waste. But they had to give Thor something to do. They've always had trouble giving Thor something to do in these Avengers films because he's so powerful. They have to kind of limit him to what he does. And It doesn't really work here any better than it did in Infinity War, really. Maybe a speck better. Well, yeah, I'll take that back. It does work better here than it does in Infinity War, where you just went off in Infinity War to take a... I mean, not in Infinity War, Ultron, where you just went off in Ultron to take a bath, or whatever the hell that was. It works better here than that. This movie is easily better than Ultron. Ultron I still didn't hate, like some people. It was a pretty good popcorn flick. This film is a great blockbuster, though. There's lots of good character moments here. That's one good thing about the film, despite some characters being underused. They each one get at least one cool or a couple cool, really good character moments that work really well. Pretty much Captain America and his team go to Wakanda to help out Vision to get the stone out of his head so Thanos won't kill him when he rips it out. And when you get to the end of the movie and they're in Wakanda and everything, you get some cool action. The action here is good. Really good action. Really fun. We get to the end. Scarlet Witch manages to get the stone out of his head without killing him, but then Thanos just reverses it and rips it out of his head. And he has to end up killing Gamora, sacrificing her to get one of the Infinity Stones, like the Soul Stone, I think it is, the Soul one. And you get a Red Skull cameo, who's actually the keeper of the stone. I don't know how or why he is, but it was cool seeing him there. And I don't think it wasn't Hugo Weaving playing him. The guy did a damn good Hugo Weaving impression. But it was cool seeing him there. I like how they tying the stuff together. That was cool. So, yeah, Thanos, like when he kills Gamora, he's like got tears coming out of his eye. Like the CGI acting from this CGI character is good. Like the Josh Brolin acting, I think he did the motion capture for it. It's good. But once again, even though the scene plays well with him like crying or whatever, it still doesn't make any sense why he's so attached to this chick. And they never explain it. It's never explained. We're just meant to just accept it, like face value. That doesn't really work. Thanos' henchman made for some really cool action scenes. I like the dude who could do like the mind manipulation stuff, like telekinesis. That was cool. But once again, they're just stock characters. None of them are any count in terms of character-wise. Thanos himself is good, but his subordinates are they're bad. They're not very good at all, character-wise. There's no character to them. They're just like drones. You get a really cool fight scene, favorite fight scene in the film, with Peter Quill and the Guardians teamed up with Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, where they almost get the Infinity Gauntlet off of Thanos' hand until Quill freaks out because he finds out Thanos killed Gamora and pretty much messes it up, and Thanos gets away. And you get a really cool fight scene with 101 of Iron Man versus Thanos, where he starts using this like nanotechnology he has now. That's pretty cool, actually. It seems like they're setting Iron Man's character up to die in the next film, like as a sacrifice. Because towards the beginning of the film, you get Robert Downey Jr. saying, like, I had a dream, Gwyneth Paltrow, that me and you are going to have a baby. And usually that's code word for 2 days to retirement, if people know what I'm talking about. If you've seen enough movies, that means we're going to have a baby. And then after he dies, she's like, we were going to have a baby. It's that kind of setup, to get you to feel real sad for the character. So by the time you get to 4, when he dies, inevitably, you're like, which I will feel that way too, honestly, because Robert Downey Jr. is the best thing about this film. Captain America was my favorite Avenger after Civil War. But here, I think it's back up to Iron Man now for me. Because Iron Man gets the best shit in this film. In terms of that, he pretty much leads the film. And he's the only one that gets a good one-on-one fight with Thanos. Which brings me to another problem. The Hulk. Mark Ruffalo did really good in this film. He did a good job in this film as Bruce Banner. But the Hulk is wasted. He's wasted in this film. And it makes no sense why. Beginning of the film, the Hulk gets in a fight with Thanos, and Thanos just beats him down really easy, but too easy. It's like the Hulk wasn't even trying. It's like the Hulk didn't even put up a fight. It's like the fight was literally like 5 seconds long. Felt like they just didn't know what to do with the Hulk in the film because he was so powerful. And he just refuses to come back out, and you get the idea that probably the Hulk refuses to come back out because it's the first time he's really been beat down by somebody like Thanos, And I get it. You want to show how big of a threat Thanos is, we can just easily take down the Hulk. But the problem with this is the Hulk is the most powerful Avenger in terms of power and strength. And at the end of the movie, Iron Man does a better job fighting Thanos than the Hulk does. No technology whatsoever that Iron Man has should be strong enough to do any kind of damage more to Thanos than what the Hulk should have done with one punch. I'm sorry. It does not work. It doesn't work. And the reason why is because Robert Downey Jr. is the star of the franchise. And they want to give him the most badass moment. And that's cool. But the Hulk, he's just wasted here. He doesn't do shit. Wasted. And that was really disappointing. We get to the end of the film. And Thanos gets hit in the chest by Thor's weapon finally. And he says, you should have hit me in the head, because if you hit him in the head, he would have won, because Thanos would have been dead. But Thanos manages to snap his fingers and disintegrate half the population in ash. We get a bonus credit scene with Nick Fury and Maria Hill disintegrating, where he's calling Captain Marvel, whose film we're going to get before Avengers 4. So that was cool. Everybody starts turning to ash. Great scene. Great scene when everybody starts disintegrating. But in your heart, you know that most of these characters are going to come back in Avengers 4. Either Iron Man or Cap. It's going to be one of those two. Is going to die in a way to where most of these heroes are going to come back. It's going to be something like that. It has to be. Because they need them. They need most of the members to keep going with whatever new team they want to have after Avengers 4. Because we know the team's going to get a big shakeup after Part 4. We're going to get a different lineup. Iron Man or Cap, Part 4 is going to be their last film. It's going to be one of the two, or both. But yeah, we get that, and then Thanos is just like hanging out on a farm somewhere. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. Doctor Strange, though, we get a hint that he saw. Well, he tells us that he saw all these alternate futures, and he picked the only one where they win in. And you can tell by the end of the film that he's setting up stuff to where they can win, with Avengers 4. So that was cool. Doctor Strange was used well here. And that's the end of the movie, pretty much. 1 out of 4. It's 4 stars. This is a great film. See it in the theaters. You're a Marvel fan. You'll have at least a good time to great time with it. I'm a Marvel fan. I'll admit. I had a great time with this film. I did. I had a great time. Despite the flaws that I've picked out. And there are flaws. No movie's perfect. But the movie makes up for it with just like the first Avengers movie, or the second one even, where it's just pure fun just seeing all the characters together. It's not a perfect movie. No movie is. Is this like the be-all, end-all of comic book movies, like the best one ever made? No, it's not as good as any of the Nolan Batman films, in my opinion. It's a better film in terms of pure fun than any of the Blade movies. But in terms of character and story, that was better in Blade 2 and Blade 1 than what we get here. Because they just have so many characters here, they can't give them all enough to do. There are better comic book movies than this. This isn't the end-all be-all of comic book films. And I keep saying that because that's what some people are going to hype this film up to be. And if you feel that way, that's cool. But it's really not. I mean, at least in my honest opinion, it's really not. But if you do feel that way and this is for you like a masterpiece, that's great. If you had that much of a good time with it, that's awesome. For me personally, this is just a great, fun blockbuster flick. It's better than Avengers 2, which was still a pretty good popcorn movie. Avengers 1 is awesome. Avengers 1 is one of my favorite comic book films of all time. By the time you get to Avengers 3, even though it's still fun, you've still lost a little bit of the excitement of seeing these characters together because, there's nothing they can really do to amp that up. Once you've really seen that for the first time in the first movie, how do you really top that? Sorry. What, just by adding in more characters? Okay. It just becomes more and more convoluted. That's why they had to probably take so many out at the end of this movie, so the cast won't be so, epically overfilled by the time you get to the next film. But yeah, all in all, 4-star film. This is still a great comic book blockbuster film. I like the original Tim Burton Batman better than this. It's better than it's better than Batman Returns, or obviously Forever, or Batman and Robin. Iron Man 1 is better than this. In terms of Marvel films, Iron Man 1 is better than this. It's better than Iron Man 2 or 3. It's better than Doctor Strange. It's better than Spider-Man Homecoming. It's better than Thor. I gotta say, I kind of like Thor Ragnarok better than this. I did. This is a better comic book film than Thor Ragnarok, but as a movie, Thor Ragnarok is slightly stronger. Thor Ragnarok's a comedy. It's not really even a comic book movie. It's just a comedy. It's almost like a Thor parody. But it was funny as shit. And it was entertaining and well written for what it was. Yeah, I like Thor Ragnarok better than this. Even though I give this movie 1 extra star. Even though I give this movie 4 as compared to Black Panther, which I gave 3.5, I still enjoyed overall Black Panther more than this. This film is more fun and more entertaining than Black Panther, of course, because you get all the characters. But in terms of story and how characters are written, Black Panther was better. But that always happens anytime you get a blockbuster film like this. When you got multiple characters, it's just a big explosion fest, the big epic one. You always get more light on character moments. That always happens. It's inevitable. All in all, this is still a great a great Marvel film. This is one of their better films, and it's worth checking out. It is one of it is. Let me put it this way: it's not one of the best comic book films ever made, but it's one of the better ones. Like if I had to make a list of the best comic book films, or ones I would recommend, this would be in there. It's a great film still. It would be in the top at least top 11. It'd be in at least the top 11. So I'll see you guys again with the next review. And before I go, I wasn't disappointed in the film. It was what I figured it would be. It's just the story isn't as strong as it should have been in this film because they're just having to do so much by now. It's just hard for them to make any kind of really meaningful story with all the characters. But yeah, all in all, I'll see you guys again in the next review. You should definitely watch it if you're a comic book fan, though.